Hello, Miss Carissa. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So we are streaming to our regular platforms, and then I got my little phone over here that we're streaming to TikTok as well. So you're going to see me looking back and forth and all over the place as we go through. Are we streaming to our group yet?
That's what I'm doing.
Awesome. All right, everybody. We've got some really important stuff to talk about today because we have a webinar tonight on that where we're talking about how you can feel more vibrant and be lighter and really go into details on our 9-week True Body Reset program, which starts on September the 24th, which I'm super excited about. So today, just to kind of feed off of that, we are going to go through the 7 most powerful hidden habits that actually block weight release. And this is important, you guys. In the True Body Reset program, we're actually going to be giving our clients who are in that program, they're going to get a list of all of the 25 top ones. Today, we're going to go through 7. These aren't necessarily the top ones, but these are still 7 that are really important. Okay. And so we've got a lot to cover here in the next, 20, 30 minutes. So stay tuned and hang on and give us a shout out if you're watching. Give us a hello. Are we live in our Facebook community?
I believe so. I'm just double checked and it shows that we're there. So
very good. Guys, if you're not in the South Bay Wellness private community, got your butts in there. It's really, we post stuff that doesn't go out in other places. We have a lot of activity and interaction that takes place there. And our group community always knows about stuff before stuff actually happens. So you want to get into, if you go to Facebook and you just search for Dr. D's, South Bay Wellness private community. Mm-hmm. Then that is what we're going to talk about. That's where you go for that. So, all right, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? Like you're eating healthy, you're exercising, maybe you're cutting back on certain foods, and still you're like in this space where your weight won't budge. And I bet there's lots of people, right? And I can't tell you, how many women I've worked with who have really felt like their bodies are betraying them, right, Carissa?
Yes.
And
all the time.
Here's the truth. It's not your willpower, right? It's not that your body is malfunctioning. I say this a lot, right? Because your body doesn't malfunction. Your body does everything that it's supposed to do for a very specific reason, right? It's usually the sneaky hidden habits that kind of fly under the radar screen, right? It's the little things that we don't even notice day to day that actually are the things that are quietly sabotaging our progress. And those are the things that we want to be on the lookout for. So we're gonna go through 7 of those things today. These are, like I said, the big hidden saboteurs. And be sure, stay with us. Listen all the way through the end today because you're going to want to get all 7 of these. And like I said, if you want all 25 of them, that is available to the people who are in our True Body Reset program, which starts on September 24th. And if you need more info, you just leave us a comment and we'll get you the info right away for that program as well. It's like my phone is gone dark here. So hopefully it's still streaming live there on TikTok. Okay. So you guys, let's start going through. So one of the biggest ones, we'll start at number 7 here and work our way through to 1. So one of the biggest ones is skipping breakfast. So if you are in your perimenopausal, menopausal years, so on and so forth, and you're skipping breakfast, maybe you've seen the trends like, oh my gosh, like if I intermittent fast, everything is going to go so much better. I'm going to lose weight, this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden, like it may have worked before, like it may have worked in your 20s or your 30s, but now you're like in your 40s and your 50s, and that skipping breakfast thing is starting to take its toll. I mean, we see it all the time with our clients, right, Carissa?
All the time. Like women usually tend, because a lot of times they wake up, they're like, I'm not hungry. You know what I mean? And sometimes they think skipping breakfast can feel like discipline.
Exactly.
Like you're being good, you're counting calories. But, you know, what we often
Yes.
talk about is your nervous system is already running hot or your blood sugar is already unstable. So it can actually make your body feel more unstable.
Exactly. Well, you know me. I love my metaphors. So I want you all to think about your body like a car, right? So if you start your day without fuel because you're fasting through the morning,
Mm-hmm.
then what happens is it's like your stress hormones, they slam on the gas pedal. And so that might get you going for a while, right? You slam on the gas pedal, the car is going to move for a while, but then eventually you crash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you end up reaching for sugar later. You end up having cravings later. You end up, like you said, Carissa, spiking your cortisol in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens? We overeat at night. And so this is an issue. Listen, I think that there is a lot of benefit to intermittent fasting,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we have to look at it differently when it comes to women who are in that menopausal, perimenopausal range because our bodies just work differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would rather see, and this is what we tell our clients all the time, I would rather see you fasting in the evening, right? Versus fasting in the morning. And this is especially true if you are working out in the morning. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are in this hormonal transition of your life and you're working out in the morning, but you're skipping breakfast, well, guess what? Your body doesn't have the fuel. Now you're also going to catabolize, right? Which means break down your muscle, which is one of the most important things that you want to have to actually boost your metabolism during these perimenopausal years, right? So
Mm-hmm.
make sure you start your day with a balanced, protein rich meal. Okay. And if you are going to work out first thing in the morning, you also need to have a little bit of, real good complex carbohydrates as part of that morning routine as well. And you
Mm-hmm.
guys, as you're watching that, leave a comment, drop us a message. If you're having questions, go ahead and put it in. And like I said, we are going through the 7 hidden saboteurs. If you're in or registered or registering for our True Body Reset program, which starts on September 24th, you'll get the list of all 25 of those. So good.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I think like women should know too, like it works better to do exactly what you said, right? Like just start something that's grounding.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be something huge either, right? Like I tend to love, and what I suggest to clients is like some warm veggies, you know, with some avocado, some protein, you know, think
Yeah.
savory
Yeah.
instead. And really the point is to signal safety, not starvation. And like you
Exactly.
just pointed out, skipping breakfast can backfire, especially I think many of us deal with adrenal fatigue and poor sleep too.
Absolutely. 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 Okay. Number 6 on our saboteur list here is grazing all day long. Now, I know, like, depending on who you're following on what social media channel, blah, 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 people are like, no, you have to have all these little meals throughout your entire day. So there isn't, here's my take on this. Okay. You should be able, your body should be metabolically healthy enough that it can switch
Mm.
during the day, right? Because you want your body to be able to, I'm sorry guys, my dog here. You want your body to be able to go into, burning the food that you eat and then also moving into fat burning mode.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if I'm hoping somebody's going to hear the dog and come get the dog so I don't have to get up and move the dog. So if you're grazing all day long, you're no longer training your body how to actually switch that light switch. Shh, quiet. Okay, he listened. So you're no longer you're training your body how to move that switch. And so that's why it's important. Now again, I recognize when your blood sugar is unstable and you're kind of all over the place, this may be a more difficult transition. Okay. But what we want to do is we want your body to be able to switch into fat burning in between meals. And it only turns to fat burning when your insulin is low. So if you're grazing all day long, nuts here, bites there, it's kind of like, imagine like you've got a light switch. It's like you're turning that light switch on and off. So your body never actually gets to move into fat burning mode. Okay. And then your blood sugar kind of moves all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is our insulin stays elevated and now
Mm-hmm.
we're not fat burning. Okay. So I want you to get, there is a connection between your fat burning and insulin. So
Yeah.
it's important, like give yourself parameters. First of all, to save you time, because then you're not always looking for something to eat, but give yourself parameters, right? So that you're eating like every 3 to 4 hours. Okay. That way you give your insulin a chance to reset. Thank you for stopping barking, Rocky.
Well, I think that's such a good reminder because just like you mentioned, like I remember always hearing that too, like eat, graze all day because it was told that you're actually helping your metabolism,
Yep.
right? But what we're actually doing is we're never giving our body like a break from digestion or like you said, an insulin break, right? So I'll just add too, like it's not about eating less if that's how people are hearing it. It's more about pushing through the hunger and creating, and like you said in the beginning, right? It's about creating structure and that rhythm that helps your body feel safe and regulated. And I always tell my clients, like, your body wants to work with you. But
Yeah.
if it's being bombarded with food every 60 to 90 minutes, especially if you're using like a processed snack or sugary coffee drinks, I
Exactly.
always hear the ones to go to. It's constantly managing blood sugar instead of shifting into that healing, fat burning, or repair.
Yes, exactly. Straight that is like spot on, Chris. And I hope all you guys on TikTok, I haven't figured out how to stream from our software onto TikTok so that you can see both of us talking, but hopefully give me a thumbs up if you can at least hear both of us talking on TikTok. I think that you can because I know that there's people watching and I just saw a heart pop up. So good. Okay, I'm glad that you can hear both sides of the conversation. I'm still learning, you guys. This tech thing is a new thing for me. All right, so you guys grazing all day. We wanna shift that so that we are actually having structured meal times. You want to give your body a break. Think about it. It can't run all day long. So you want to give your body a break. Okay, let's go to number 5. Oh my gosh, we got 5 more to go through in the next 15 minutes. So number 5 is skimping on the protein. And let me tell you, when you are, grazing on like carbohydrates and things like that all day, it is not unusual to skimp on the protein and you don't even realize that you're doing it. Okay. But if you're not consuming enough protein, and you guys, I don't mean over consuming. I know there's this trend, this like new, trend to eat a whole lot of protein. I don't think that's the right way to go either. Especially if you're overeating protein, it is stressful on your kidneys. Now you end up with all sorts of other issues, but making sure that you're getting in proper amounts is important, especially as we're in those 40s, 50s, 60s and older, because that is the building block of our bodies, and we actually need to make sure that we're getting in so that we are, what's the saying, you can't build a house on a poor foundation. So that is like your poor foundation. And what happens is if you're actually not getting in enough protein, and I'm going to add fiber to this list too, because fiber is really important. So yes, eat your vegetables. But if you're not getting a lot of that in, what's going to happen is, the structure that your body needs is going to collapse. And now all of a sudden you're going to find that you're like having cravings here, there, and everywhere. So now you've got muscle loss, you've got a slower metabolism, you've got constant hunger, and here we are. So make sure that you're getting that protein in, that fiber in, and those healthy fats with all of your meals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think many of us realize just how important protein is. It's protein isn't just about building muscles too,
Right.
even though it's very important, but it is very critical for the blood sugar balance, for hormone production, even for mood regulation. So when you're not getting enough, you're not just losing that lean muscle that you just talked about, you're also likely to experience the blood sugar dips that you just talked about too, that lead to the cravings and energy crashes, right? That feeling of like, oh, I need something sweet at 3 p.m., you know?
Yeah.
And when I coach clients through this, it's also not about extremes. It's not about, slamming down huge protein shakes or putting like 6 raw eggs and slamming that down. You know what I mean? It's about eating protein that feels right, whether you want it to be meat or when you want to get it from incredible vegan sources too, right? Because everybody's body's different. So it's really just about matching your intake with your body's needs.
That's spot on. So that's number 5, you guys. Going through here, 12 minutes, Carissa. 12 minutes.
I know. You're moving really quick. I'm very.
Number 4. And I was like, how many do we give? And I was like, 5. And I'm like, well, 5 feels too little. So now we're at 7. But now I'm like, oh my God, we're rushing through. You guys, if you want all 25 of these, then I invite you to our 9-week True Body Reset program, where we are, all of our participants in that program are going to get all 25, in addition to all the steps that are necessary to actually release this midlife weight gain, which is important. So you can
support,
comment or message, and we'll get you taken care of. In fact, I've got a free webinar that we're doing this evening. We're going to walk through some more of these things in detail, and we'll be on Zoom, so you can actually interact with me versus just watching us here. So leave a message. We'll make sure that you get taken care of. Or if you don't see this till after that message, let me know. I'll make sure that I get you a link to the replay so that you can see that as well. Mm-hmm. Okay. So without further ado, you guys, number 4 out of those 7 saboteurs, you ready for this one? This is one I am guilty of myself, and it is scrolling before bed. You're like, well, wait a second. What does scrolling before bed have to do with my weight? Okay, you guys. Well, the blue lights on your screens before bed, they actually trick your brain into thinking that it's daytime. Okay. So now you're telling your body, hey, don't make melatonin. Okay. You don't need to make melatonin. You don't need to worry about repairing. Don't worry about burning fat. That's what the blue light screens. So I'm telling you guys, simple things, but this is a hidden saboteur, because listen, that impacts your sleep quality. Sleep will impact, we'll get to this because it's in our list here. Sleep is really important, but it also disrupts that circadian rhythm. And when your circadian rhythm is disrupted, so is your hormone balance. So I know it seems simple, like, oh, scrolling in my phone, how does that impact my weight? Well, you guys, this is why it impacts your weight. So don't scroll on your phone at night. And if you absolutely must, and none of us must, okay, we shouldn't be filling our stuff with what's on social media right before we go to bed either, in this crazy day and age when it's all not good stuff on there. But at the very minimum, make sure you've got like blue light protector glasses, or at least, on all my devices too, I have blue light apps. So apps that reduce the blue light to assist with that. Because truth be told, I am on my computer a lot of time during the day. Our practice is 100% virtual. So I spend a lot of time just like this in communication. And then all the other work that we do is virtual, and the recordings that we do and the lights and this, that, and the other. So it does have an impact. And, we've got a really big issue with melatonin in our society today. And a lot of it comes from that blue light, you guys. So that's number 4, no scrolling before bed. Carissa, how do you get yourself to stop scrolling before bed?
I personally like to read a book. And I also want to add, because like you said, like I've caught myself doing it too, right? Like you're laying in bed, you just want to unwind. So you open up your social media and you're like, oh, this is so relaxing. But suddenly you're watching tragic videos, and then something funny, and then a sad story, someone's hard day. And then it's like, or even like all the mindless stuff in between. And it actually doesn't feel good. And it's not neutral content. So your nervous system is still taking it in. And what that does is it keeps your brain in that stress loop. Even if your body is lying still and you're relaxing and you're in bed. And so that's why we feel exhausted in the morning, or we have trouble sleeping, because we don't ever really get in true repair mode, right? And it's just like we talk about, like with mindful eating, we also need mindful tech use. So
Yeah.
I do try to replace, because I still will get into it. I'm like, oh, whoa, what am I doing?
15 minutes
So
later, you're like, what am I still doing? Scrolling on my phone.
yes, and I
Right?
could feel like the pit in my stomach, or I could feel the heaviness in my chest. And I'm like, what is happening? So, deep breathing, a calming playlist, journaling, I think is great, or reading a book,
Yeah.
just something to really like wind down. It doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs, your body to be like, hey, it's safe to rest. We're good, along with the blue light and stuff like that. So,
And I love what you pointed out and what you're saying, because the thing about scrolling at night too is that you're right. We are stimulating things in our brain that should not be stimulated before we go to bed. Because the stuff on social media isn't always beautiful roses, but like you said, there's a lot of trauma. Just in the last week, our brains have absorbed more trauma than our brains were designed to handle. And whether or not we think we're okay with it or it can have an impact, that's
it
may not
does.
be what's going on underneath the surface. Like, we are all impacted by these things. We've
Mhm.
been desensitized, right? Because I think about the Netflix shows that my husband puts on TV. They're like, all there's guns and violence and this and that and people dying left and right, and it's like it's grandiose. So we've actually like become desensitized at a surface level, but you better bet that impacts
Yes.
us at the unconscious level. We were watching what was it? Prison Break. So I got involved with a Prison Break Netflix series.
Mhm.
I like it because you were always having to think. But then I found myself like I started to like go to sleep and like have dreams that were related to the
That's happened to
show.
me.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, this is not good. Like,
Yeah.
this is not good. Think about, you guys, we don't think that we are being programmed, but we are being programmed on a regular basis, right? In order for me to watch the Prison Break series on Netflix and then go to sleep and have dreams related to the series, you better bet that is like unconscious programming. And
Yeah.
when you're sitting and you're watching stuff and you're scrolling, you guys, your brain goes into trance mode. So
Yeah.
you're now no longer critically thinking. All the normal barriers that might provide some quote unquote protection, they're completely broken down.
That's
You
a good
know,
point, because I was thinking like the more relaxed you are, the easier it kind of is. And then when the emotions grab hold and they get really big, then we just lose all that critical thinking and it kind of just seeps in. So,
Exactly. For those of you watching, what are your thoughts on this? Leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. Let
yeah.
us know if this is like content that you're interested in and relevant. And you guys, let's move on because we only have a few more minutes here.
Yeah.
So we have covered already 4 of the hidden saboteurs. Let's go to the last 3 now. So number 3, and this one surprises people. Okay. And number 3 is over exercising. So
Mm.
sometimes people get to the place where they're like, oh my gosh, I got to lose weight. I'm just going to exercise to the hilt. But you guys, more exercise is not always better. Imagine like squeezing a sponge, right? You squeeze it out. Maybe the first part of the sponge, you get like, liquid there, it comes out, but then you push harder and harder and harder, and eventually nothing comes out of that sponge. And that's what happens when we overtrain. Okay, so we spike our cortisol, we increase the inflammation, and that then leads us to that, fat storage around our bellies. And that becomes a problem. So you guys pay attention to what it is that you're using for a workout. So if you are in that midlife period, then it is important that you are doing strength training, but you shouldn't be doing long-term high intensity cardio. That is not what's going to be best for your body and best for actually burning weight. So strength training, really important. Okay. And then also make sure that you're not overtraining and use restorative exercises, right? Like yoga, Pilates, even stretching, breath work, all of that stuff is key. I can't tell you how many clients have come into our practice and they're like, Dr. D, I can't figure out why I can't lose weight because I'm eating really healthy. And yeah, there's some parameters, right? Everyone's thought around what healthy eating is varies, right? And sometimes it's not really healthy eating, or sometimes we don't realize like things are creeping in that shouldn't be creeping in, for example. But there are times when people come in and they are really truly eating healthy and they're exercising. We had one client when she came in, she was so upset with her hormone imbalance. She's like, I don't even know who I am or what my body is. My husband doesn't know who I am when I come home from work because he never knows what mood I'm going to be in. And she was bicycling like over 100 miles a week. But it was actually throwing her further out of balance rather than actually helping her lose the weight. So be really careful about that overtraining. Okay. I mean, you see it with our clients all the time, Carissa, right?
Oh yeah. And I've even seen it with myself, right? And you come to realize, or come to learn, I should say, if your nervous system is already tapped, that extra workout isn't helping. It's actually working against your body. And I always say, like, healing and results don't come from punishment, they come from alignment. So like, I know for me personally, like, running is not my thing. Like, my body just doesn't like it. So, and I recognize that because the movement of running doesn't support my energy. It steals it. Like, I get very tired. I tend to overeat, so the best thing for me to do is, like, I could do hard workouts, right? I just can't go for those long runs. So I just make sure whatever it is, that the movement is building resilience, not burning me out.
Exactly. That's the exact thing, right? We don't want to burn ourselves out.
Yeah.
That makes things worse, not better. Okay. Number 2, you guys, that is poor sleep. So if you are trying to release weight and you are not sleeping, good luck. It's not, sleep is like the secret weight loss pill that nobody ever talks about. Just one bad night of sleep can raise your hunger hormone, which is called ghrelin, okay, and lower your satiety hormone, which is called leptin. We did a whole lunch and learn live on ghrelin and leptin. So go ahead and find that, in our social media. But what happens is, if you are not sleeping, now you're hungrier, you're craving more sugar, and your body is essentially clinging to fat. So you want to make sure that you are putting protection around your sleep. Like, that sleep is a priority for you. 7 to 9 hours of high quality, consistent sleep. And we can loop back. This is why that screen time thing and scrolling at night is bad news. Bad news.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to add too, like, when you're not sleeping, like you said, your metabolism takes the hits, your emotions take a hit, and your willpower and your nervous system too. I know when I don't get good sleep, I crave sugar. You know what I mean? And everything kind of feels harder when we're exhausted. And it's not our imagination. Your brain is literally like, I can't regulate. You know what I mean? When I'm sleep deprived.
Yeah.
So sleep is not optional. It is foundational.
Yes. Well, here's the other thing too, is we start to self-medicate ourselves, right? Now we find, okay, well, I survived the morning, but now the afternoon comes, but you didn't have a good enough sleep. So now you're freaking exhausted. And what are you doing? You're like, okay, let me eat, let me have coffee, let me do all these things. And all these things then spiral it further out of control. So you guys, you've got to make your sleep a priority no matter what. And you guys, some of you might be in bed for 8 hours, but you're not falling asleep or staying asleep. You've got to work at the underlying root cause to correct that. Okay. And there are a lot of different reasons for that. You want to make sure that you work with a healthcare practitioners to identify what's happening and why that's actually happening, because it is, you guys, a really big deal. Okay. So, and finally, our last one. So you guys, we've been going through the seven hidden saboteurs. Those of you who are in our True Body Reset program, you're going to get a full list of our 25 that I've worked on designing from the scientific literature, you guys. But if you are not in that program, get yourself into that program. It starts in, 9 days. It starts in 9 days. It starts on September 24th. And if you don't know how to find out more information, drop us a comment. We'll find your comment and we'll get that information out to us. So now time for number 1, you guys. And the number 1 hidden saboteur towards our weight loss, that thing that stops us from actually releasing weight, is the chronic stress, you guys. It is the cortisol overdrive. So if you take nothing else away from today's Lunch and Learn Live, let it be this, okay? Stress is the number one saboteur of weight release. Okay. Imagine that your body is like a rain barrel. I love the rain barrel, analogy here, but every stress, work stress, family stress, sleepless nights, they all kind of fill that rain barrel. And when that rain barrel actually overflows, then the symptoms show up like belly fat, fatigue, hormone chaos. And you can diet and exercise all you want, right? Diet and exercise and the cows come home. But if your stress rain barrel is overflowing, your body is simply not going to let go, right? That chronic stress, it drives cortisol, which drives your belly fat, which drives insulin resistance, which drives inflammation. Okay. And I think, Carissa, you say it best all the time. Your body doesn't feel safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1000%.
Yeah. And that's a problem, you guys. All right, so let's wrap it up. I know we're a couple minutes over, but leave us a comment. Let us know how this was for you. We want to hear your feedback, so we're delivering to you what you want to hear or what you need to hear. Sometimes it's not what we want to hear, but what we need to hear. So the 7 saboteurs: number 1 or number 7, skipping breakfast. Number 6, grazing all day. Number 5, skimping out on protein. Number 4, scrolling before bed. Number 3, over exercising. Number 2, poor sleep. And number 1, chronic stress. Okay. So I want you to notice that none of these were about like eat less, move more, not a single one. They're actually about your habits, your hormones, your nervous system. And when you can shift these habits, weight release stops being a battle and actually starts to feel neutral. So you guys, if you're realizing like, wow, I've been doing these things without even notice I'm doing them, then that's good news, because now you're aware and you can take those first steps that will allow you to stop sabotaging your weight loss. Okay. Yeah. And if you want support, you guys, not just knowing these shifts, but actually implementing them in a way that will fit into your life. And that is exactly what we do in our programs at South Bay Wellness. So if you're curious, you guys, you want to learn more about the 9-week True Body Reset that starts September 24th, or you want to learn about our other programs, go ahead and email us. So front office at southbaywellness.com, or go ahead and direct message us through whatever platform you're watching this on. So I think that's all we got for today. Carissa, you got any closing words of wisdom?
Yeah, I feel like everything that we just talked about, I think it's important to say, like, these are all micro freedoms. Like, each thing that we touched on is like a freedom to me. You know what I mean? Especially the last one, because I feel like hearing that stress is the biggest block can almost feel stressful in itself, right? We're like, oh my God, like, how do I change the world we live in? I can't control every curveball or fix every situation overnight. But it's not about that, right? And you've said it so many times too. Like, it's really like, where do we have the power? Where can we change the way we carry something? And how can we shift how we show up inside, right? Like taking 30 seconds to check in with your body instead of powering through, eating from a place of nourishment instead of numbing, getting that sleep. Like, those are all freedoms.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's not perfect. It's really about giving your body that consistent message of safety, of support, of like, I got you. You know what I mean? And I talk to my body all the time now. I never did, but I'm always like, hey.
I do too. Actually, I've been doing this thing where, I probably haven't shared. I probably haven't shared this with people, but I'll share it here. Do you have an appointment coming up right now? Or you got a couple minutes?
I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, I've been dealing with. It's not really a health issue, but it is a health issue. I've had this like a dermoid cyst, an ovarian dermoid cyst, which is, you're kind of born with it, you guys. It's like a cell that lost its way when you were in utero developing. And over time, as we get older, it gets bigger. Right. And of course, the conventional medical model is there's no way to get rid of it. There's nothing you can do about it. And, so I've had this pain and I've noticed it and I've gotten it checked, and they're like, hey, you need to go have some surgery and get it removed. And I'm like, well, wait a second. I'm not at the point where I'm ready to do that, because I could lose an ovary doing that. And quite frankly, I'm in that menopausal cusp and my ovary is still playing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to do that. So I've got to figure out, okay, how do I remove this thing that's irremovable in a way that is safe and natural for my body versus invasive? Because that's where I'd like to start. If I can, awesome. If I can't, well, then I have a backup plan, there's no emergency for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is something it can stay. It doesn't make a big difference. It's just uncomfortable, you know. But one of the visualizations that I don't know, I just kind of started with this visualization is it's like a tube. There's like this white tube, and I do this every morning and every night in my visualization, and I'm just kind of passing through this white tube filled with healing light, and it's just reshaping and reorganizing every part of my body in the way that it feels best. So whatever visualization works for you, I think is really important. So, but it, like you said, it's a big part, like talking to your body.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what do you need? Why are you here? How can I assist you? It starts there. It starts with that connection with our body. So
yeah, you don't have to bully your body into healing, right? It sounds like you're partnering, and that story I think is just so touching because you can support it, visualize it and nourish it, and you can still, be empowered through it. You could still make powerful medical choices if and when it becomes necessary, but from a grounded place, not from a fearful, panicked one.
Exactly. And that's the big difference. I think a lot of times people move into panic mode. And when we can like take a step back and be like, okay, what's my body doing? Why is my body doing this? And how can I support my body? Not how can I battle with my body? That makes a difference. So, all right, we're about 10 minutes over. So we'll see you all for next week's Lunch and Learn Live on next Monday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
So bye, everybody.
Bye.